I would say we probably saved somewhere in the area of 100 to 150,000, which is, significant.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, you can, spend some money on furniture or decorations or furnishings or whatever.
And that was, over a year and a half ago now. So now you could probably save quite a bit. That was before inflation hit.
Sure. Well, when we started the process of looking into building a home, we decided, hey, let's start interviewing builders and making plans and that sort of thing. And I started doing a little research and came across HomeWrights, and we talked about it and looked at all the things. We were very busy in our careers and everything, so decided at that time we didn't want to do the owner builder program. But we had already planned on a lot of other things and had, a lot of things scoped out and had my little book of materials ready to go. Sat down with Bob in his office one day and he said, guys, this is just the wrong thing for you. He's like, I would love to charge you all that money to build a house for you, but you are a perfect fit for what we do as owner builders. And so he convinced us to go the other route, and we're glad we did it. It was a lot of fun and really a great time.
So as the traditional builder, we could have used him as well, and he would have basically ran the entire project. And that's where we were a little nervous that Mike wouldn't have enough time with his full-time career. But with the owner builder, it's really nice that you have all of that help, support, their contacts. You can also use your own. They come out whenever you need them. They also come out just to check when you're not asking for their help. So you have all that extra support. Well, for the most part, he did it. I was definitely here and helped out, but it was fantastic. I loved how excited that he got. I think he would have been just wanting to be as involved even if we didn't do the owner builder. So I'm really glad. It was definitely still a little more work, even if he would have been that involved. And it is work, but it's your home and you built it.
Yeah, I would have really felt sorry for him if they would have convinced us to do the traditional way, and I would have been on top of him the whole time, asking questions and pushing him. But really the process was great because they were there for the support, gave me the timelines and, a bunch of contacts and, what's next and where do we need to be going from here. And those things were huge, right? I'm in real estate, so I knew a lot about homes and been through hundreds and hundreds of inspections and all sorts of things before. But, till you go through the entire process and you hire the contractor to scrape the house that was here and then dig a foundation and lay in the plumbing and doing all this other stuff, it really, brings all those pieces together.
I think one of the biggest benefits is that we got to go out and get our own quotes. So instead of going with just a contractor that did the entire home for us, we got to go out and get our quotes and continue looking, feel comfortable with who we're hiring. And many and most of those were off of the list that we got through HomeWrights. To do it on our own, we would have just been getting individual contractors that aren't necessarily worried about the next project, and they work with HomeWrights a lot. So they have a good incentive to do a good job for us.
So these guys were vested in their process. They knew that, if they made a mistake with us and cost them the chance to work more with HomeWrights, it was going to be a major problem for their business. So they were all very, very good about really trying hard and doing the right things, competitive on pricing, that sort of thing. So it all made real good sense to us.
And in turn, they were working quickly. I mean, I would say almost every contractor we had did a great job of getting in here, being here when we wanted them. We've heard nightmare stories from others that even if it wasn't on their own, where contractors aren't showing up, they're not there, but this worked out really well.
Definitely, I think we saved a significant amount of money, but I think that probably for us, the bigger piece was the control and the involvement that we had in the process. Saving money is always great, but having the ability to be involved in that process as deeply as we were was so much more valuable than just the cost savings of having us be the GC.
And it was fun that we got to make those individual changes. It wasn't something that someone was doing for us, and it made it really fun together.
Yeah. Well, so if we had a middleman involved who was going to be our builder, for instance, if I went in and had Bob sit down and say, hey, I'm going to build this house for you, I'd hand him the plans from the architect and he would build it per those specs. And that's what you would get. What we did throughout the process was we would constantly see changes or quirks or maybe flaws in the process that we didn't like as much. So we were able to make changes on the fly and make things work better. In many cases, it was the subcontractors who even came in and said, hey, you know, there might be a little better way of doing this. What do you think about if we tried that? And we had that decision to make, and it was always, we like it or don't like it, but we were in control. Whereas if we had the middleman working on it, he might not have even asked that question. He would have said, nope, just do it per the plan, follow what we're supposed to do. Yes.
And in turn, it was cool because that's where we didn't have change fees for those items, where the contractor, we could catch it before they did something. Then we didn't have to pay for them to, which wasn't a change fee, but to come in and like our closet, we moved a little bit. So there was room for a whole shoe rack. And he'd already, I mean, it was minimal. He'd already put the posts in, but it was simple to just have him move the posts.
And we made changes from, you know, the structure of the house to the patios to everything throughout the process that were completely different than what we originally planned on, because as it was coming to life and being, you know, built, you could see things and say, you know, if we did this, it would provide more light here or this here or whatever. And I think it would fit our lifestyle better. And that was really cool. Well, I would say definitely do your research, because it's a process. You know, you don't want to say, I'm going to take this on and have a major mistake in my life. But at the same time, with all the help that you get and everything, I would feel very comfortable, and recently have felt very comfortable telling a friend who is very much not into real estate, not into construction or anything else, do it. You can handle this and they'll help you. It's not a hard process.
A friend of ours that we just referred to HomeWrights and they've started building doesn't necessarily have all of that construction background. And I think it's something that it's easy enough to do either way. There's enough support.
I would say the biggest skill you need is planning. All you have to do is be able to plan for what you need, and they'll help you with that, making that plan and then following it. I would definitely recommend it. I think the biggest thing is having the control to be able to build your own home your own way in your own time frame is awesome. But certainly, you know, that may not be for everybody, but for us, it certainly was a great decision.
Yeah, I think it helped us be able to get into our home quicker. And I know even our architect was a little concerned when we were doing it ourselves. She's like, just for some people, it takes a long time if you're doing it yourself. And she was very impressed with HomeWrights and how we were able to just stay on a schedule and keep things moving forward and not having large gap times.
We made a good team with HomeWrights and the Dugans, and we made a good house.
Yes.